I'm Jackie. I'm an Arizona realtor and have built a multi-million-dollar business with my husband by using what I learned from being a teacher. Now I'm bringing the steps I took to leave the classroom and become a top producing agent and team owner. So grab your coffee, cherry vanilla Coke, or maybe even a cocktail, and let's begin. Hey friends, guys, I'm so excited to spend some time with you today. And I wanted to say something before we get started. So I have received so much amazing feedback over the past few weeks. Teachers reaching out and telling me how much the podcast means to them. They love my humor. I guess I'm kind of funny, right? They love hearing my stories of success and then also failure. They said that they really feel equipped to take on a career in real estate, which is amazing. I've had listeners reach out and ask how they can partner with me. And if you are wondering how that can happen, make sure to listen to my episode number 20, or you can shoot me a direct messenger on IG. I am at Jackie Durbin AZ, and I will gladly plan a strategy session with you and see how I can help. I've also had some non-teachers reach out, and they just so happen to follow me on Instagram, and they are really liking the content. They're gaining some value. They're learning some stuff. And so I'm just feeling pretty good about myself. It's funny because when I started the podcast, I didn't really consider ooh, I want to be on the top of the list. I'm totally fine with not being on the top of the list. I mean, it would be cool, but that's not one of my goals. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't attached to the outcome. And the reason why is because I knew if it was only important to me if I was on top, that the content wasn't going to be what it needed to be. And so my goal was just, I want to be able to help one teacher either see the light at the end of the tunnel, or I wanted to provide value to one maybe newly licensed agent or even an experienced agent that, could get some value from what I was sharing. So the fact that I'm doing that is really just making me super excited. So anyhow, if you're listening and you're digging this podcast, if you could do me a favor, guys, give me a rating. Okay. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or whatever, give me a rating, drop me a comment. And the reason why is because the more comments and ratings I get, the more people are going to see this podcast. Now, how does that happen? Well, because Apple and Spotify are going to boost the podcast that people like, right? Why would they do that? Well, because they want people to stay on their platforms, guys. I mean, come on now. Have you not realized that that's kind of what the computer does to us? They want us to stay there. So anyhow, if you could do that for me, I would really greatly appreciate it. So anyhow, I'm excited about today's episode because we're going to talk about delivering bad news. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, okay. Now you may think, what bad news could possibly have to give as a real estate agent? What bad news are you given? Okay, well, guess what? I compiled a list to share with you. Number one, when you have to share with your buyer that they didn't get the house. Yeah, that has been a reality of a lot of real estate agents, especially in these past few years with the market just getting so crazy busy, meaning our inventory is low because not as many people are selling their houses, but there's a lot of people who want to buy a house because interest rates are low, rent's going up. So it's actually better for them to buy than to rent, right? But when there's 10 houses and 100 people who want those 10 houses, well, guess what? That's 90 people that you have to give bad news to, right? And it's hard. It's really hard to tell someone that they didn't get the house, especially when kids are involved and they're running down the halls and they're calling rooms. And then you're like, yeah, guess what? Well, you don't have to worry that your brother wants your room because neither of you getting the room. All right. Number two, um, this is a good one. When you have to call your buyer and tell them that Kohl's card that they just applied for to save 10%, just cost them their house because their debt to income ratio is now out of whack, or maybe it threw something else off. I don't know. I'm not a lender, but all I know is when you are in the process of purchasing a home, you don't pay off anything. You don't get any new debt. You don't pay off any debt. You don't change anything except your underwear. Okay. Always change your underwear. That's important. All right. So that would be bad news. Three, your buyers, the buyers that were going to buy the house that you helped, your friends sell. Yeah, they backed out. That would be bad news, right? Here's a good one. During an inspection, they found some rodents in the house. Yeah. Yeah, that would give me nightmares. So one of the things as a real estate agent is we have to make sure that we educate our clients on wire fraud. So wire fraud is when you are wiring money to, say, a title company or a lender or whatever you're doing during that process, and it actually is a fraudulent wire. Okay, so one of the things that we do to prevent that is we make sure that we go over wire fraud with them and we educate our clients on, hey, this is your title company, this is your lender. If you get an email that says send this money to this place, call this title agency if it comes from the title company, call this lender if it comes from the lending company, and just confirm that they actually sent that to you and that those were the directions. Okay, so it's just educating. But if I had to call someone and be like, hey, guess what, your 100 grand you just sent, yeah, that's not where it was supposed to go and that money is gone. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. um, Maybe the buyers can't close now for whatever reason. That would be bad news. A pipe busted and now the whole house is flooded. So now we're not going to be able to close. Maybe you were hosting an open house and their family pet got out. Yeah, that would be really bad news, right? So guess what? It's not too uncommon to have bad news in education also, right? Okay, we have bad news in real estate we would have to deliver. There's bad news in education. Um, Parent teacher conferences. Hello, Exhibit A. Your child is failing a class. That's bad news. Hey, your child is failing multiple classes. More than bad news. Hey, guess what? Your child that you think is an angel is actually really a mean kid and they're bullying a lot of the other kids. Guys, that's bad news, right? Maybe it's, hey, you know what? The teacher that you had last year, they really kind of missed the ball and now your child is a grade level behind or maybe 2 grade levels behind, or hey, you know what, I think your child may have a learning disability. We need to look at testing, we need to do some evaluation. Maybe you got to call CPS. Now obviously you're not going to call the parents and deliver bad news that you had to call CPS on them, right? Okay, but that could still be a bad day. All right, so the point is there's bad news that you would have to um, deliver on both of them, right? So, how can you use what you know about delivering bad news in the classroom to what we need to deliver in real estate? Now, remember back when you wrote report card comments. Oh, that is the one thing I do not miss from teaching. I loved conferences, loved creating lesson plans, loved making copies, loved doing bulletin boards, lessons, all that kind of stuff. Loved all of that. My least favorite thing as a teacher, report card comments. Oh my gosh, like it never fails. Like you can't find something good to say, or like maybe you can't find something that they need to work on. And you have to do that because your administrator said you can't just say everything's hunky dory, right? They have to have an area of growth. You have to use SMART goals. You have to, guys, yeah, I don't miss it. Okay, but anyhow, but what I remember, especially that first year that I was teaching, and my mentor teacher said, when you're writing a report card comment, it needs to be a compliment sandwich. And I was like, what is she talking about? Okay. But here's what it was. You start with a comment, then an area of growth or an improvement, followed by another comment. So they would look kind of like this. Little Johnny is a great addition to the class. He can lose focus at times, but he does complete work when given a little bit of extra time. Okay, so what do I know about little Johnny? Well, little Johnny, we like having him in class. Okay, maybe that means he's a cute kid. I don't know what it means to be a great addition to the class. Like, what is he? Like, what would be the opposite? A great subtraction to the class? Like, hey, I'm so glad your kid didn't come to school today, right? Okay, so anyhow, but you get it. The problem is he loses focus. All right. So, what we're doing to combat that is we're giving him extra time to be able to finish his task. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe Johnny has ADHD. Maybe Johnny has some focusing skills. Maybe he, just works better in a different environment. Okay. It doesn't matter. Right. But that's how we deliver that bad news. Okay. So, that's just like real estate. So, here's how I deliver this. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the offer we submitted was one of the top two. That's good news, right? Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, oh, here comes the kicker. We didn't get it accepted. Okay. That's the bad news that I had to deliver. Okay. But see how I said, hey, we were in the top two. We just didn't get it. I did just get an email, though, from another agent that they have a house that is perfect and is going to go live Thursday. When is a good time Thursday to view it? See, a compliment sandwich. Now, if the only way that you're delivering bad news is just saying, yep, the offer didn't get accepted. Okay, you've given the clients no hope. That's like telling a kid, sir, you failed math. There's no hope for you. Yes, there is. There's hope. And that's the one thing that I think teachers do so well in markets like this because one, we don't give up. We don't just look at the problem and say, oh crap, what are we going to do? No, we find a solution. And that helps you so much in real estate because your clients trust you and they know that you've got them, and you're going to keep the outlook positive. You're going to focus on what you can do, not what you can't change. Can't change that they didn't get the house. But what am I doing? I'm working my tail off, and I reached out to all of my real estate friends. I found a listing that matches everything that you need, and they're going to let us get in first. That's how I use my teacher heart in a real estate world, guys. Okay? Now, I've given you all of the secrets. So bye-bye. I'm just joking. Okay, let's talk about delivering bad news in our first year of teaching. Okay, personally, I was always worried, right? Are the parents going to blame me? Are they going to think I'm a liar? Are they going to think I'm a horrible teacher? Will they go home and call all the other parents and complain about me? Will they start a Mrs. Durbin is a horrible teacher club? And will I even get invited to that club? Okay, while most of these are ridiculous, some of them can happen. Clients, just like parents, will have feelings. They are invested. Parents are invested in their child, okay? And clients are invested in finding or selling their home. Guys, both your parents of your students and your clients are going to hold you to a high standard. So let them have their feelings. Let them cuss. Let them yell. Let them cry or whatever else toots their horn. But you, yes, you need to remain calm. You need to be the voice of reason. You need to provide a solution to this bad news. So how can you help? Well, when a child is struggling in a course, right? What do great teachers do? We provide accommodations, right? We try different teaching styles. Yeah. We collect data, right? We analyze that data. We figure out what we need to do to move that child from where they are to where they need to be. Guys, we are problem solvers. That's no different than with a client. When a buyer is losing out on house after house, it can be depressing for them and for you, right? You need to provide some accommodations. Now, what could they be? Maybe they need to be changes in their standards in the house that they want. Maybe their expectations aren't realistic, or maybe it's the way that you're writing the offers, right? Think back to like that first year of teaching when you thought you knew everything, because I mean, for God's sakes, you just got out of school, right? Like, what else could you need to know? And look at the kids who struggled. Now, yes, some of those kids could have, needed more, okay? Or maybe they needed to work harder. Or maybe it was us. Maybe we weren't at our best yet. I always look at my last year of teaching. Those kids in that classroom, they got the best teacher of all my life. Okay, why? Because every single year I learned something new from the students in front of me. It's the same thing when you're in real estate, okay? It's going to take a while to get used to it. All right, you're starting something new, but that's okay. All right, so this is a time, if you're not getting these offers accepted, to collaborate with other agents in your office, right? It's like a PLC. Okay. So just like a PLC in school, you would all the teachers of the fifth grade, they would all come together and kind of brainstorm, hey, your kids are doing really good on this concept. How are you teaching it? My kids are not doing very well. This is how I'm teaching it. Let's look at what our teaching styles look like. Let's look at the lessons that we're doing. How can I modify what I'm doing to get a different effect, right? Guys, the whole definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting different results. I'm going to say that again for the people who didn't hear me. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting different results. So, what do you do as a real estate agent? You need to talk to other people. You need to talk to other agents that are getting their offers accepted. And you think to yourself, well, how do I find them? Get on social media. Guess what? They're all over social media. They're making all of these stinking posts. Look what I just sold. Look what I just listed. Look what I just did. Guys, reach out to them. I don't care if they're in your brokerage. I don't care if they're in your state. If they're a good person, they will help you. Think back to during COVID. All the teachers, our classrooms got flipped upside down. And how did we survive? We leaned on each other. We went to social media. We went to TikTok. We went to Teachers Pay Teachers. We went to Instagram. We went to all of these different platforms. And we thought, okay, what am I going to do? I'm a teacher in fourth grade. So you know what? I'm going to search hashtag fourth grade teacher. And I'm going to see all of these different teachers who are also fourth grade teachers. And I'm going to start following all of them. And you know what? As I'm following them, now all of their videos, all of their content is going to be on my feed. Okay. I'm going to see what are their lessons? What are their kids doing? And guess what? When I see those kids on their feed that are on a Zoom and they're smiling and my kids are not, I'm going to message that teacher and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, your kids look so happy. My kids are really struggling. What are you doing to make these babies think that school can still be fun? What are you doing to lessen the burden where they don't feel scared, where they don't feel that it's always going to be this way? Think about the kids who are in like second grade, guys, the kids who are going into like second grade. Their entire school career has been COVID. It's been mask. It's been on computers. That's their whole life. They don't know any different. Okay? So how do we collaborate? How do we learn? We ask people, and it doesn't matter who they are, seriously. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're an agent and you're struggling, by God, I better be one of the first people that you reach out to. You ask me, Jackie, I need help with this. How can you help me? Now, if you're a teacher and you're still in the classroom and you teach fourth or fifth grade and you're like, ooh, I got to teach this content and my kids aren't getting it. Can you help me? Heck yeah, I will. I miss the classroom. I really do. I love teaching. Social studies, my jam. Love teaching U.S. history. And it was so much fun. I would sit on my desk and I would sit crisscross applesauce and I would look at the kids and I would say, where did I leave off? And they would say, you left off with, they threw snowballs that had rocks in them, and that's what started the American Revolution. And I'm like, exactly. Now, let's go to the next thing that happened. And the kids were so engaged. Now, why did I do that? Because I had an amazing high school teacher, and that's how she taught. And I was like, that's a cool teacher. That's how I'm going to teach U.S. history. And guess what I did, right? We learned from each other. So anyhow, guys, it's no different. Okay. You just have to actually ask people. You have to pivot. You have to be willing to not be the smartest person in the classroom, and that's okay. You also need to set up realistic expectations. If the market's hot, it might take 5 offers to get 1 accepted. Be honest with your clients about this reality. It's no different than when you have a kid who's coming into your classroom. Maybe they were absent. Maybe they missed a lot of school. Maybe they have a learning disability. Maybe what, I don't care what it is. Okay. And they are very behind and the parents are like, I want them on target. Do not tell someone, I can do that. Tell them, you know what? I'm going to work super hard with your child and we're going to make the most progress that we can. But realistically, this is what I tend to see. So let's tailor our expectations. Okay. Same thing with a client. Hey guys, I know that the first time you write an offer, you're really going to want that house. Okay. But I just need you to tailor your expectations. Because of the market, we may have to write 2 or 3. So even though you fall in love with this house and you want to write an offer, just don't be totally into the outcome. Don't be so attached to it, okay? Because if we don't get it, guess what? That's for a reason. We weren't supposed to get this house. We're going to get another one, okay? So make sure that you're being positive, okay? It's no different than when we're at conferences, right? Okay, guys, real estate's hard, especially in the beginning. But guess what? So was teaching. And if you were teaching during this pandemic, okay, you knew the twists and the turns, right? Same thing with real estate. Lean on other agents in your office. Lean on agents in your brokerage, in your organizations. And if they don't give you the support, well, then you know what? You can come partner with me. You can join my brokerage. You can be in my group. You can be in my organization, and I will watch you succeed. And the reason why I will watch you is because I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know. Guys, if you are thinking about a switch into real estate, especially right now, I would love to support you. I'd love to bring you into our collective group of agents. We have partners in multiple states, and through our coaching and our training and our support, they are leaving the classroom and going full time. Maybe you don't want to go full time. That's fine. Guess what? I have a whole lot of agents that are part-time and they supplement their income and save for the future. Let's connect. Let's chat on ways that I can help you reach your goals. Going into real estate can seem scary. Starting something new can be a challenge, but you, that's right, you keep the attention of 24 to 32 children a day for 7 hours. You maintain peace in a sea of hormones and body odor. You can do this, and I am here to help you. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Jackie Durbin AZ and at Teachers in Real Estate. Also, like, share, and rate this podcast. And if you need help or you have state-specific questions, reach out to me and I will gladly help. Guys, keep sending me those Instagram direct messages. I love them. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. See you next time.